absolutely incorrigible, insatiable you are. You need to know more. I did a thing a little while ago about pickup phasing, and it was pretty brief, succinct perhaps, I don't know. And somebody commented underneath, to the tune of, yeah, you're doing all this with an analog meter, and I think I can see something happening on the digital. So is there a way to check pickup phase using a digital meter? And yes, there is, and I will show you. I want to show both things because I think the video quality of the last one was a bit shit. So we're gonna do this. Now, as we all know, my video production skills suck, so bear with me. I'll give you a little bit of intro here, right? What we have here is a Telecaster. Now, you may not have a Telecaster. Perhaps you have some, a Les Paul or something. You may have something with a 3-conductor wire or a 4-conductor wire with a screen, with a total of 5 baffling cables. Now, I'm not here to navigate that. That's something else. The Tele happened to be something that was on the bench, and it's probably one of the simpler ways of sort of boiling down what we're going to do with phase. Now, we have 2 pickups in a Tele. Let's see. Now, they are different, of course. And now, different in shape, different in electrical character, and most notably, I suppose, different in wire color. So if you were going to put these 2 pickups into your Tele, and you'd be looking at white and black and red and yellow, you'd be like, oh, okay, how do I know they're going to be in phase? Because trust me, there's a huge difference in sound to pickups that are in phase and out of phase. So you need to make a choice. Do I want all my pickups in phase? Do I want to have a phase switching option? Again, I'm going to leave that one to you. But today what we're going to do is look at wiring a guitar with the pickups in the same phase. Okay, right. Before I get into the nitty gritty, again, we have, sometimes you have to make a choice. With these type of pickups, the choice is kind of made for you. And by that choice, I mean what's going to be hot and cold. What is going to be negative and positive? What is going to be signal and ground? So I'm going to try to use the same terminology throughout this, which will be signal and ground. What does that mean? You have 2 wires for this pickup. One of these wires is going to carry your signal. I hope that makes sense. It's the little AC signal that is essentially the sound. The other wire is going to be connected to earth or to ground. I can't go too much into that. Hopefully that's self-explanatory. The reason you're here is because you probably know some of this already, right? Okay, so we have signal and ground. Sometimes with Tele pickups or with simpler pickups, you can choose one. Doesn't matter. As long as you choose, one wire has to go to ground, one wire has to be signal. There's no getting away from that. Unless, of course, you're into weird switching options, which we won't go into. In an ordinary setting, one wire is going to be ground, one is going to be the signal. Okay? So in some instances, you can choose which you want to be. Some pickups are going to have some little subtle things on them that are going to determine for you what's going to be ground and what isn't. So if I'm looking at this pickup, which I am, I have a black wire and I have a white wire. And if I hold this up to you, is it going to be in focus? It's probably not. Oh, is it? Maybe it is. You're going to see a little extra wire there on the black side of things. And what that black wire is doing is it is connected to this copper plate on the bottom. Okay, that was the neck pickup. The bridge pickup is going to be similar. We have a red wire and a yellow wire, and on the yellow side of things, we're seeing a little connecting wire right there to the bottom of the plate. Now, or the plate. It's a little copper thing. I guess it helps in shielding, it helps in grounding. In these situations, when you see that, just choose that color for your ground. Oh, did I make a mistake there? It's actually the red side of things. Yeah, the red side of things on this pickup is going to be our ground because we have this little connecting thing connected to the plate. That's going to be a ground. What you don't want is to have things like this connected to the signal portion of your guitar circuitry, because when you touch it, When you touch the strings, you'll hear an awful sound. Normally, when you touch the strings of the guitar, any kind of interference should start to diminish. That's the string ground. Okay, so we have a way to determine what is going to be signal and what is going to be ground. Now, to recap that very quickly, the wire that you see connecting to a bigger part of metal, some larger picture that you don't quite understand, that's ground. The other is signal. So in this case, we are going to have the red cable as ground and the yellow as signal. In this case, if I get it right again, yeah, definitely on the black side of things, the black cable is essentially connected to one end of the pickup coil, and I should say winding, not coil. And the other, and it's also connected to the copper plate. That's our ground. So black is the ground for this one. I have no memory. Red is the ground for this one. Okay, so that is how we're going to do it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that these two pickups are in phase right now. It means that the manufacturers have sort of chosen for you, okay, and this one, that's going to be your ground, and this one, that's going to be your ground. So what we're going to do now is double check to see that they are both in phase. And there's a couple of ways you can do this. Maybe even 3 ways. So let's get to that. So we're going to go delving into what these meters do. This is a fairly cheap meter. I got this a billion years ago. It's an analog, and it has a digital component to it, a little digital screen for extra funness. And this one is a slightly more posh digital meter. Now, I'm going to start off with the analog meter. This is how I always used to check pickup phase. Now, remember we were talking about signal and ground. Yeah? So signal, again, what we want to do is be consistent. So ground on your digital multimeter, on any of your multimeters, we're going to say is the black wire, and that goes into the COM, right? And your signal is going to be your red wire, and that goes to the appropriate hole, be it volts, ohms, usually the same sort of thing. Check your meter. I'm not going to go into all that sort of stuff. Right, for this particular meter, you have to choose what you're going to be looking at. Now, we're going to measure resistance. Now, resistance in the pickup coils, or the windings rather, change when metal things get thrown at them, like little strings vibrating on them, right? So here is our neck pickup, okay? And what did we determine from earlier? We determined that black was ground and white was signal. So I've got my red cable for the meter, and that is going to be signal. And fortunately, in today's demonstration, the one left over is black, and that is the ground that we've chosen, or the manufacturers have chosen for us, and it's also going to be the ground on the meter. Now, right away, we're going to see the meter move a little bit. So I'm going to demonstrate for you first, and then we're going to go close in. So I've got my pickup here, and I have a reading on my meter. It's reading 4.85 kiloohms. Do you need to know what that means right now? No, I don't. What we're looking for when we're checking phase is movement in that. So the reading right now for phase means absolutely nothing. We need to create the conditions where the meter is going to move in a certain direction, and then we're going to be able to tell phase, hooray, hurrah. Right, so what do I need now? I've got my pickup connected to my meter. It's giving me a reading. What do I need? A big, ugly metal tool. Something ferrous, meaning, Fe from your periodic table, something made with an iron content. So I'm going to reach over here and grab the first tool I can find. It's just a pair of wire cutters. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rest the wire cutters on the pickup. Now, it's a magnet, right? So, ta-da, right? Now, as I move around, the reading is going to change on the digital meter, the meter. Okay, so what I want to do is stick it on there and wait until it settles. And then I'm going to pull it upward. And the meter is going to change. I think you might even be able to see that. Can you see that? I'll do a close-up in a little while. Okay, I'm going to double check my work. Always double check. It always helps. So I've got my tool resting on the magnets, on the pole pieces, I should say. And then I'm pulling up. And as I do that, the needle is going forward. The resistance is increasing. So that's a handy way of remembering. When I go up, the resistance goes up. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing with the bridge pickup. Now, what did we determine? We said that red was going to be ground. So in this case, red is going to the black wire. Yeah, and then the yellow is going to the red wire. So these colors sometimes, can get confusing, but you just have to remember what means what. Okay, so I'm looking at this again, double checking. Yes, my red wire is the one connected to the plate there, so that's supposed to be the negative or the ground. Now I'm looking at this, I'm seeing 6.1 kiloohms. Again, do I really care what that means? Not at this stage, no, just because. But I do know that usually in a bridge pickup setting, the output is usually a little hotter, the resistance is a little higher, and that's what we get. So I'm going to do exactly the same as I did with the bridge, or the neck pickup rather. I'm going to get my big metal tool and I'm going to rest it on the pole pieces there, and wait for the needle to settle, wait for the reading just to sort of settle down, and I'm going to pull up. And the needle went forward. So I'm going to double check my work. I'm going to go up, needle goes forward. So I go up, resistance goes up. Fantastic, great, groovy, right? Conversely, if I start from up here and I go down, the needle goes the other way. Perfectly normal. When I go up, it goes up. When I go down, the meter goes down. Okay, so now we know from the last one, up means up means up. That means these two pickups, as far as the color coding is concerned, as far as the negative and the positive, or the ground and the signal are concerned, they are in phase. So hallelujah, that's how you do that. Okay, so let's look at a little close-up. I got my pickup here. I got my tool there. It's settling down. When I go up, the meter goes up. When I go down, the meter goes down. When I go up, meter goes up. Right? It's the same as the Homer Simpson thing. Bed goes up, bed goes down. Yeah, just remember. So down in this case means down, up in this case means up. Fantastic, absolutely groovy, right? It will be different from pickup to pickup. Sometimes when you go up, it will go down. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that both of them are doing the same thing. That's consistent, and that means they are in phase. Now, I'm going to try something a little different.